Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the executive editor of Heart Energy's E&P magazine, Jennifer Presley.
Our first speaker is Josh Adler, CEO of Sourcewater, a water exchange for the energy ecosystem. Josh is a graduate of Yale University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Let's welcome Josh to the podium.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It's great to come out to EOC Water Forum Day again. You know it's Water Forum Day when you get on that flight from Houston on Southwest, and every single person on that full plane is involved in water in some way. I think I was right in front of Jim Summers in the line going in somewhere in the back of the A group, and was joking, this plane goes down, there's not going to be any water in West Texas for a long time. Many of you have heard about our online water marketplace, and over the last 5 years we've built up a system for finding and trading water and disposal capacity, particularly in the Permian Basin. But what many of you might not be aware of yet is that over the last 6 months we've done a lot of work to create additional capabilities and reposition ourselves as really an oilfield water intelligence platform. And to that end, we actually have a big announcement to make today, which has never been made publicly before. Transaction just closed last week on Friday. Sourcewater has acquired Digital H2O. So for those of you who are familiar with the Digital H2O oilfield water intelligence service around disposal capacity and disposal logistics and flows, that is now being integrated into the Sourcewater online platform so that we can fully cover both all of the water sourcing side as well as all of the disposal and recycling side, particularly in the Permian Basin. So it's not quite Concho and RSP, but it's big for us. And with that, we've tried to combine what, if you've been coming to these conferences for as long as I have, Sourcewater and Digital H2O are basically the only two water-related software companies that show up at every oil and gas conference. And so we're excited to combine those and make it one. So we're talking specifically about water sourcing today. Of course, we know, most of you out there, you're doing water sourcing every day. There's a whole process. There's a lot you have to do. And we've had thousands and thousands of conversations, and we understand the kind of work that's involved in that. From the hydrology, hiring outside teams, maybe it's your inside land or water team. You've got to build or buy or rent water storage. You're designing transfer routes and optimizing those. You have to permit wells and easements, rights of way. You're calculating and forecasting water volumes. You got to test those wells. You're testing the water. There's a lot of different work that's involved in building and managing a water supply system. And all of this leads towards something that every water engineer hopes is going to be the perfect water plan. And there's a whole bunch of flow charts and arrows and storage facilities and disposals and water source and water wells. You create this great looking flow chart where everything's going to work perfectly. And then as you build those out, you get a map kind of like this, which is borrowed from an operator online, where you've got this perfect system and now all these leases are connected and there's a backbone to the system and you've got all of the different pits connected, and some of them are for fresh water and some are recycling pits. And this is going to supply your operation for the next 10 years. But the reality is, we all know this, water plans are always changing for reasons that are completely outside of anybody's control. There is no such thing as the perfect water plan because you just can't predict the future. And that comes from marketplace changes like your drilling plans, your completion plans. Those schedules are constantly changing and they're completely outside your control as the water team. And all of a sudden the rig's going somewhere else and that's not where it was going to be. And you got to fill up those pits quickly because, well, you hadn't had that in the plan and they're going to start drilling in 2 weeks and it's going to take 4 weeks to fill the pits. Or maybe the frac designs are changing and so you're going to need more water or you're going to have more flow back than what you expected. And that wasn't in the plan. Maybe your company bought a new lease or a whole new company and their designs are not well documented. You don't even know where their water is. You don't even know where their pipelines are. That just kind of got lost. The rock doesn't absorb as much water, produce as much water, or produces more water than what you expected. maybe the weather's just hotter and windier and drier this summer than what you've been forecasting. And so the pits are evaporating faster, and that means you're going to need more time to fill them. The fact is, water planning doesn't end when you've created that water plan. It never ends. It's always changing. And the way to adapt to that isn't to have a more perfect plan. It's to have greater flexibility and more data and more choices and options at your fingertips whenever you need them. And so the old solution, the way of managing all of this, is some of the items you see on the board now, right? It's making lots of phone calls. It's doing the footwork. It's knocking on doors and sending your land team to somebody's living room to work out a deal on their water wells, pulling records from courthouses, sending direct mail even. There's a lot of footwork that goes into this. These are systems that have been developed over decades, mostly through land team work in the Permian Basin in particular. The problem is, as you saw in Mark's presentation, there's so much more water now being used and recycled and disposed of, particularly in the Permian Basin. These old systems just don't work when your water plans are constantly changing every day for reasons that are outside of your control. And so the new solution is to use data-based water intelligence. And that's what we're doing at Sourcewater. We're creating an online platform that combines every possible source of water source, recycling, and disposal related data into a single digital geospatial map that allows you to see everything that's going on and be able to use it practically. And what you're seeing now is an actual screenshot, by the way, of our new system. So let me take you through a few of the functions. First, of course, you can find all the water wells and surface rights out there. That's pretty easy. There's a lot of good public records out there of the water wells. It's easy to pull all those records and have all the water wells on your system, right? Everybody's got that. But then there's a question of where's the water available right now? Where are the pits and ponds and impoundments that have that water in it? Well, it turns out there's actually no public records of that. And we get asked that question a lot. Where's the water available now? Where's the lifted water? What we do is we analyze satellite imagery using machine learning and artificial intelligence to find all of the frac ponds in the Permian Basin, how much water is in them, what kind of water it is it fresh, brackish, produced, flowback? We can tell that from the spectra. And we tie that to landowner records and even phone number databases. And we call every single frac pit owner in the entire Permian Basin and ask them, do you really have a pond right there? How much water is in it? What kind of water is in it? And by the way, what price do you want for that water? Have you sold any lately, and to whom and how much? And so we're not just using public records here. We're actually using advanced satellite imagery analysis techniques and combining that with human intelligence gathering to create this map and all the data about all the frac ponds. Then, because we operate the only oil field water marketplace, we have all the price data from over 5,000 water and disposal capacity listings in the Permian Basin alone. So we not only show you where the water is and who owns it and how to reach them, we show you how much they want for it and how much is available from them, from the source, not just speculating about it. These aren't just projections. These are actual for sale listings created by real water and surface and disposal owners. Then we also show all of the surface parcels. Every single landowner, every single surface owner in the Permian Basin is in our system with their parcels all mapped and their contact information, and even in cases like university lands, who to contact and what the easement or right-of-way or water licensing procedures are, so that you can manage all of this in one place. And then you can actually use our tools to plan your project, plan all your facilities, map them all out, run your transfer lines, and create that entire system and map it and save it and share it with your colleagues, connecting all of this data on all of these different layers. In fact, we're even working on a transfer optimization system where it'll tell you exactly where to put your transfer pumps and how big they should be based on your route elevations. On the disposal side, we have all the commercial disposals. We have all the private disposals. We have all the secondary injection. We have all the treatment facilities and all the pits that have produced water in them. We have price and availability for almost all of these because we call literally every single disposal owner, to about 400 in the Permian Basin every week, and ask them, what are your disposal prices? Plus, we've got all those listings in our system. And now with the addition of the digital H2O capabilities that I talked about at the beginning, we also show the logistical relationships and flows between every operator lease and every commercial saltwater disposal in the Texas Permian Basin. So for each commercial disposal, we show which operators send their water there, how much water they send, and what's the capacity utilization of that commercial disposal. And we get this question a lot, where are operators sending their produced water for disposal? So what we're really doing is we're combining all of these diverse data sources, not just the public records that you see from a lot of different sources, right? We're not just web scraping the Texas Water Development Board or the Texas Railroad Commission, which is really easy, right? That took us like the first day about 5 years ago. What we're doing is we're pulling in every possible source of data, including all these proprietary technologies. We have multiple patents pending now, actually, on some of these. So we're pulling in the data from our Sourcewater marketplace. We're pulling in all these government records in many different types and forms. We've got a market research team that makes thousands of calls a week to Permian Basin water market players, asking about price and availability of water sources and disposals. We're pulling in the satellite imagery analytics every single week and analyzing where all the frac pits. And in fact, we're doing some more advanced things with those that I kind of sort of can't announce yet, but there's a paper coming, there's a publication coming out about it in the JPT next month in December about some of the new, more advanced work we're doing with satellite imagery analytics to say even more about what's happening in the Permian Basin long before the public permit filings of drillings and leases tell you what's going on there. And we're going to be combining that as additional layers over our water data and frac pit data. And then we're also starting to work with a few companies like our partners at SitePro to bring in Internet of Things and SCADA data feeds from the field to be able to show you in our map the frac pit water levels and the water pipeline flow rates and where all the pipelines are, the pipeline map for the water midstream, and downhole rates and tank battery levels in near real time on our map, so that you can make optimal logistical decisions right now, not just planning something out for 6 or 12 months from now that, as we know about all these plans, you know, the one thing you know about your plan is it's not going to happen that way. And so we have hundreds of different use cases. We have big operators that come to us and just want a raw data feed to put into their supercomputers and crunch those numbers and add in the water data. We have lots of different analysts and companies that are making investment decisions about where to put their disposals, where to put their produced water pipelines, where to put their frac pits and treatment facilities, who want analysis and heat mapping and projections about where are the mismatches between water supply and water demand and disposal requirements and disposal capacity all over the basin, where are those trends going, how do you visualize those to make better decisions about where to make billion-dollar investments in water infrastructure. And we have lots of companies that are just out there trying to sell stuff. And so they want to know, where's that new frac pit getting built? Because I want to go sell my pumps, or I want to go sell my liner, or I want to go sell my chemicals, or my clarifying chemicals. And so we get those questions every day too, and we show where all those water assets are and who owns them and how to reach them. So what we're really trying to do here is not just the marketplace we've been doing for the last 5 years, we're trying to deliver water intelligence about the Permian Basin. We're in Houston, you can reach us at sourcewater.com, and welcome your questions. Thank you.